So welcome to Obstacles to Weight Loss. I'm Dr. Michelle Dillon. I'm a naturopathic doctor. And if you're here because you're frustrated with weight loss and that you just don't feel like your normal self, then you're in the right place. And my heart truly goes out to you because I know how just hard it can be for women that are struggling to lose weight, especially if they're all doing all the right things. I've listened to hundreds of different women and their struggles, so I hope to shed some light on that subject and educate you and inform you on why weight loss is so complicated and difficult. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself and show you a picture of my family. So I'm a mother of three children under the age of 6. My oldest just turned 5 in the end of June. And my youngest is almost 7 months in about a couple weeks. So yes, I'm busy. I'm the founder and owner of Charlotte Natural Charlotte Natural Wellness. It'd be good if I knew the name of my own company, but and my husband and I run the business or the practice. And it's just I feel like God called me to this profession to help people get better without drugs or surgery. My goal is to find the cause of what is the root cause of the problem and address it in a way to help your body heal itself. The body produces symptoms for a reason, and many of those symptoms are because the body is deficient in something. Your organs in your body run on nutrients for fuel. And many times if it becomes deficient from poor diet or stress or environmental toxins, those deficiencies can cause those organs to become imbalanced. And when organs are imbalanced, they cause symptoms. Symptoms from headaches to weight gain to fatigue, insomnia. All these things, all symptoms are caused by deficiencies. It's the body's way of saying, hey, there's something not right, help me. So it's not normal to just want to mask these symptoms. It's my passion to find the cause of them and address it in a way so the body can heal itself. And I've been blessed enough to see hundreds of different people and their families get better and get off their medications. So that's pretty neat. So our objectives today, try sitting in your room and staring at your computer while many people listen to you. It's kind of weird. Anyways, objectives today, we're going to be talking about the obstacles to weight loss. What we will cover is blood sugar imbalances, look at what to eat, what to look for on a food label, toxins in weight loss, how they play a role, weight loss tips, and I'm going to talk about an upcoming weight loss support group that's online. So people that are states away can join us. Anybody can really take place in this weight loss group, and that'll be pretty neat. So each of these topics are something that I can actually lecture on for an hour. So I'm going to hit these topics, and then in the weight loss group, I'm going to each week do a webinar on each of these topics if you guys are interested. I'd love to have you join me. So let's talk about blood sugar. Blood sugar is super important when it comes to weight loss, and most people in this society have some sort of blood sugar issue. What goes up must come down. So a lot of times when you get severely hungry, it's because your blood sugar is low. Just like a car can't run without fuel, you cannot run without fuel. You can't run without eating. A lot of people skip meals. This is not a good thing because when you skip meals, your metabolism actually slows down to keep you from burning more calories because it wants to survive. It goes into survival mode. Oh, food is scarce, so let's keep our calories so that we survive. So with blood sugar, the most important thing is you want a steady spike. You want a plateau kind of thing. When you eat simple carbohydrates like crackers, cookies, things that have white flour in them that come from packaged things, things that are high in sugar, it actually spikes your blood sugar. So if you see this first spike, it spikes your blood sugar. Let me get my little marker thing. So it spikes your blood sugar, and it's not working. Kind of like a spike. And then after a couple hours, your blood sugar drops. And that's when you feel like you get shaky, you feel like you need some sweets again, or you start craving sweets. It also affects your insulin levels. So when blood sugar is high, insulin is a hormone that has to come in and help your body absorb the glucose or the sugar. If insulin is high, there's no way you can burn fat. There's no way that you can lose weight. So the key to having weight loss success is to keep your blood sugars regulated and therefore your insulin levels regulated. The way to do that is to focus on eating protein. I tell everybody to try to eat 20 grams of protein for women each meal, 30 grams of protein each meal for men. The reason for that is protein is a complex structure that actually takes a lot of energy for your body to break down. If it takes a long time to break down, then it helps keep your blood sugars stable over time. A stable blood sugar has stable insulin levels. If your insulin levels are stable, then you'll be able to burn fat. So focusing on eating protein and healthy fats like olive oil, coconut oil, avocados, nuts, these all help keep your blood sugar stable, which also stabilize your insulin, which helps with weight loss. There's something in your liver called glycogen. Your liver will store sugar as glycogen. If you continually eat things that are higher in sugar and that break down easily, this stores in your liver as glycogen. Now, when you go too long without eating, your body will turn to the glycogen in your liver as a fuel. And that's what it does, because that's the easiest way to break down food for energy. Oh, now, if you focus on eating protein and fat and healthy fats and not a lot of simple carbohydrates, then that glycogen level in your liver will eliminate. It will be gone. And then when your body needs extra energy, what it will do is turn to your body's fat storages. And that's when you start burning fat. So that's the key. So the key is to focus on eating enough protein and healthy fats to help you lose weight and start burning your own fat. So we'll kind of review this more in a little bit. All right. So the goal, steady blood sugar, steady insulin levels, you'll be able to lose fat and lose weight. So the foods, again, focus on no processed simple carbs, which are crackers, candy, sugar, chips, and focus on healthy proteins, lean meats. It should be about the size of your hand, the palm of your hand, or 3 or 4 ounces of meat. 3 or 4 ounces of meat is about 25, 26 grams of protein, depending on the kind of meat. Healthy fats should be about the size of your thumb. So like whether it's, that much coconut oil, olive oil, avocados, nuts, and then complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are anything that is nature-made, God-made, green leafy vegetables. The only thing that you want to try to reduce or avoid when you're trying to lose weight would be potatoes. And I have a whole list of different vegetables that you would want to avoid when you're losing weight or try to focus on. But bottom line really is whole foods, not processed foods. What's a processed food? Processed food, look at the word. It's processed. It's man-made. Somebody put it together in a laboratory or in a kitchen. These things have labels. So if it has a label, if you look at it and you can't tell what it is, you can't tell me all the ingredients in it, then you shouldn't eat it, generally. I mean, I know there's life and life is crazy. So I have the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, try to eat normal, try to eat natural, try to eat healthy. Leave that 20% for wiggle room or when the kids are just absolutely making you crazy. So 10 days, 8 days, 8 out of 10 of those days, 8 out of 10 days, eat healthy, leave 2 days for wiggle room. And if there's a label, then try not to eat it. So we're going to go through that. Before we do that, I'd like to tell you something that I found really interesting. And the fact is, where you gain weight can tell me a lot of what you're deficient in. So, for example, if you gain a lot of weight in your center region, in your belly especially, then it's more of a liver issue. Your liver's imbalanced or deficient and needs to be supported for weight loss to happen. If you lose a lot of you gain a lot of weight in your shoulders and your belly, then it's an adrenal fatigue. Could also be liver as well, but it's more of an adrenal, and the adrenals are the little glands that sit on top of your kidneys that help you cope with life and stress and hormones. And if those are deficient, it can cause a lot of imbalances, along with make you gain weight in your upper body. So I don't know if you've seen some women that just are really top heavy, where they have like a big belly and a big shoulders, and then they have little stick legs. So that could be more of an adrenal picture. If you're more of a pear-shaped, where you gain all your weight, you have a small upper body, but all your weight is in your hips and your thighs, then that's more of an ovary deficiency, where your ovaries are a little bit imbalanced. That can cause you more of weight in your hips and thighs. So let's look at food labels and switch it up a little bit. The first thing I look at when I pick up something to buy for my family is I look at the ingredients label. How many ingredients are there? What is listed in the ingredients? Can I pronounce it? Can I identify it? And are there any hidden poisons, such as high fructose corn syrup or monosodium glutamate like MSG, hydrogenated oils, trans fats, anything that ends in OSE, artificial colors, and preservatives. And we'll go through some food labels to give you an example. So one thing I have a pet peeve about is propylene glycol. Propylene glycol is actually a component of antifreeze. It's used as a preservative, and it has a little bit of a sweet flavor to it. And I can't believe that they put it in food, because it's antifreeze, people. That's crazy. So that's definitely horrible. Maltodextrin and disodium phosphate, they're part of a science experiment. It's pretty much manufactured, along with high fructose corn syrup, it's manufactured in the lab. It's not found in nature at all. It's not made in nature. It's man-made. All of it's man-made, and it's like a science experiment. Disodium phosphate is actually made up of phosphoric acid with sodium hydroxide, which is crazy. It's used in a lot of desserts and puddings, like cream of wheat, Jell-O, instant pudding. Kind of crazy. Maltodextrin is a polysaccharide, and it's used in products like sodas and candy. It consists of a whole bunch of like glucose molecules all linked together at different chains and variable lengths, depending on the temperature they make it at. So all these things are pretty much a science experiment put together. If you think about it, a lot of what our grandparents ate, our great-grandparents ate, was all organic. It was all natural. There's no GMO ingredients at all. That's kind of horrible. Artificial colors and flavors, they're carcinogens. Red 40, yellow 6, yellow 5, these are all petroleum-based artificial science experiments that they're everywhere, especially in kid food. And it's a known carcinogen, and it's linked to hyperactivity, especially in those that are sensitive. So definitely something that you want to be sure that it's not in your food. So what we're going to do is look at some of these labels to give you an idea of what to look at. So we have Doritos and Snickers. You guys all know that these aren't very healthy, but it helps to look at some things just to give you an idea of what to look for. So the first ingredient that's listed on an ingredients label, so again, the first thing I do when I find something that I might want to buy for my family or something that I might want to snack on is I look at the ingredients. I really don't care what the nutritional facts are, because really what the company does is make the serving size small enough so that it doesn't have high in fat, it's not high in protein or or not, protein's pretty good, but it's not high in sodium or carbohydrates. They'll switch the serving size so that it makes it look healthier. And nobody eats one serving size of whatever is listed, especially Doritos or Snickers or donuts or whatever processed food that you're looking at. It's usually you never eat one serving size. It's ridiculous. So let's look at the ingredients of Doritos. So we got whole corn. That doesn't sound horrible, but know that most corn these days are genetically modified. What does that mean? Genetically modified, just to be really quick at this, because I will probably do a whole webinar on genetically modified foods, is they actually modify the genes of that specific plant. And most of the modifications are for pesticides. So they actually implant different pesticides into a plant so that it's not eaten by certain pests, so that the company would have more to harvest so they can sell more, so they can make more money, so they can stay in business. When they put more pesticides in these plants, it actually modifies our genetics. Let me say that again. When they modify the genes of the plant, it actually modifies or changes our genetic DNA, which we have no idea what that does to us over time. But studies are now showing that the more GMO products you consume, the more cancer that can be caused. People are having higher incidences of cancer with higher consumption of GMO products, which is pretty scary. All right, so sorry. Whole corn vegetable oil, which consists of corn, soybeans, sunflower oil, salt, cheddar cheese. So all these things, we know what they are. It's okay so far, for the most part. If that was just that, then it wouldn't be too bad to eat, but let's keep on going. Maltodextrin, which is another modified substance that's made in the laboratory. It's not natural. Wheat flour is okay. Whey, which is a component of dairy, not too bad. But then we get to monosodium glutamate, which has been shown to be neurotoxic, which is pretty toxic to your brain. It's the #1 side effect is headaches. Then we got buttermilk solids, Romano cheese from cow's milk, not so bad. Whey protein concentrate, onion powder, partially hydrogenated soybean cottonseed oil. Remember, anything that says partially hydrogenated has a trans fat in it. Trans fat is what brings on arterial sclerosis, or the plaque that comes into your arteries, which causes heart disease. So remember, if it says no trans fats on the front of something, look directly into the ingredients. And if you find at any point hydrogenated oils, partially hydrogenated anything, know that there's trans fat in it and that it can cause heart disease or cardiovascular disease, which is pretty much the same thing, just slightly different definition. So if it has partially hydrogenated anything, it has trans fats in it. The reason why they could put no trans fat is, again, the serving size. If it has less than a gram of trans fat in it, then they can put no trans fat on the front of the bag, which is pretty horrible. So again, if it says partially hydrogenated anything, don't eat it because it can cause heart attacks. Disodium phosphate, again, is a laboratory experiment that gone bad. Dextrose, or anything that ends in OSE, is a sugar. Sugar is very inflammatory to the body. The more sugar you consume, the more nutrients you pee out, like magnesium and calcium. There's a whole bunch of different things that sugar does, so it's bad. It keeps you from losing weight because it increases insulin levels. Then we got our artificial colors like yellow 6, yellow 5, red 40, which are carcinogenic, and they're made from petroleum. Then we got citric acid, sugar, garlic powder, red and green bell pepper powder, not too bad. Sodium caseinate, which is a preservative, again made in the laboratory. Disodium, more laboratory things. Whey protein and corn syrup solids. Now be careful with corn syrup. A lot of the marketing has changed in that they don't write it anymore as high fructose corn syrup. They'll just put corn syrup, which sounds a lot more natural, but it's actually high fructose corn syrup. And the companies don't have to label it as such. So be careful with that. High fructose corn syrup is not found in nature, and it's highly toxic to you. It's made in the laboratory and it's very high in mercury. Any heavy metal is very toxic to the brain, and it actually inhibits a lot of your endocrine function, such as your thyroid, your adrenals, your ovaries, which can contribute obviously to weight loss along with making you feel just horrible. So that's Doritos. Now let's look at a Snickers label. We got milk chocolate, which is made out of sugar, cocoa powder, cocoa butter, chocolate, lactose, anything that ends in E. OSE is a sugar. Lactose is a natural sugar found in milk. Skim milk, milk fat, soy lecithin. Soy lecithin is actually an emulsifier, again made in the laboratory. It doesn't have the soy protein in it, but it is an emulsifier, which just means that it helps everything get mixed. Then we got artificial flavor, which is a scary thing when put on a label because they can really put anything under artificial flavor, including wheat, peanuts, corn syrup again, so that's high fructose corn syrup that's high in mercury, sugar, skim milk, butter, milk fat, partially hydrogenated soybean oil, which again is a trans fat which leads to heart attacks and is high in mercury. Lactose, salt, egg whites, artificial flavor again. So you wonder what that artificial flavor is. So let's look at a couple more. It can make you crazy, but again, the more processed the food is, the longer the label it is. So I aim for things that are less than 10 ingredients. I mean, that's not a magical number, but at least it's something that the more ingredients you put in it, the less it is food and more a lab experiment. Like this bag of chips here, it's only potatoes, sunflower oil, and corn oil and salt. Where this other, I forget what this is. I think it's some sort of TV dinner, and it has a bunch of horrible things like monosodium glutamate, also known as MSG, hydrolyzed corn, gluten, and all kinds of things that you have to slowly say because it's a scientific experiment that's molecularly scary. So let's look at the smaller label. Cereal. So this is a cereal. It's made mostly of rice and then sugar. So rice is soon to be more genetically modified in this new year, which is unfortunate. And then we got whole grain wheat, wheat gluten, defattened wheat germs. So there's lots of wheat in this product. And the more and more, I'm sure you guys heard of going wheat-free. The reason why people are becoming more and more sensitive to this wheat or gluten is the fabulously spongy stuff that makes bread nice and spongy. So gluten is found in wheat, barley, spelt, and millet. So most people are going gluten-free because wheat and these grains are becoming more and more genetically modified. The more genetically modified something is, the less your body actually recognizes it as normal and food. The less the body recognizes it as normal, the harder it is to digest. And the harder it is something to digest, the more inflammatory it is to the body. So also any particular grain in general is more acidic to the body, and an acidic body is actually more prone to cancer, along with a lot more inflammation. So like aches and joint pain can contribute to disease. Pretty much an acidic body is more diseased body. All right, so keeping on going, corn syrup again. Not good. Sugar, strawberry flavored fruit pieces. That sounds weird. Sugar, cranberry, citric acid, natural strawberry flavor. It goes on and on. So again, we want to look for partially hydrogenated. That means trans fats. You see that, put it back. Again, more hydrogenated cottonseed oil, put it back. Anything hydrogenated, high fructose corn syrup, anything with sugar. The longer the label, put it back. I think I got it. So remember, each topic I'm talking about could probably consist of its webinar in its own self, but I kind of wanted to get through everything just to tell you how complicated weight loss is. There's so many different components and everybody's different, so that's why there's not one cookie cutter answer for everybody. It's usually a convoluted, complicated solution for everybody. Usually some people have some toxins in their body. It's never a question of if I'm toxic, it's a how toxic am I and how efficient is my body at getting rid of these things. There's always a deficiency of some sort that's imbalancing some organ in their body, along with a hormonal imbalance as well, and then not eating well or healthy. So toxins and weight gain, there's polychlorinated biphenyls and chlorinated pesticides. The more that's in your body, the harder it will be to lose weight. So for those of you that may be in the situation where you're eating well, you're exercising, you're taking supplements, and you're still not seeing weight loss, it's usually there's a toxic component where sometimes if your stress levels are high, your body can't detox. Because in order for you to detox, you have to be in a more relaxed state. And in the society and in the way that we work ourselves, it's harder to get into that relaxed state so your body can detox. So that's why stress management is really important. Also, eating organic is important. So there's something called the Dirty Dozen, where somebody told me that you can actually get an app on your phone. It's with the Environmental Working Group, or EWG, and they can tell you every year it's kind of a different set of 12 fruits and vegetables that are highest in pesticides. So that's what I'll do. I'll buy those organic, and then the rest I'll buy non-organic, because as you know, buying everything organic can get kind of pricey. Also, those of you that like your fragrances, your perfumes, your laundry detergents that have strong fragrances, plug-ins or air fresheners that you put in your car, your house, all these things make you gain weight. All these things disrupt your hormones and your endocrine system. So it's best to get rid of them. For those that like to wear makeup and lots of product in your hair, I would recommend going to the cosmeticdatabase.com and putting in the brand of makeup or shampoo, lotions, hairspray, nail polish. Every single thing that you put on your body usually has a toxic component. And what it does, they're like, well, Dr. Michelle, but I only use it this or that. I don't use it every day. I only use it for the special occasion. But know that with every small exposure, it's actually accumulating slowly in your body. Especially if your body is under a lot of stress, your body will not detoxify very easily. And then not even counting the cosmetics you use, you also have the toxicities that come in the air from like car exhaust, combustion, industrial pollution, cigarette smoke, all these things as well accumulate in your body. And toxins love to accumulate in the fat cells. So that's why when some people lose weight, they start burning that fat, they start feeling really horrible because the toxins are being released in their system and they're feeling pretty yucky. So that's why it's really, really important to have somebody on board to help you know exactly what to do to support your liver so that you can get everything flowing so that you're able to lose weight and feel better. Also, I have a checklist on my website under my articles page. And it's called Home on a Diet, and there's a checklist of what you can go through to help eliminate what's in your home that might be keeping you fat. The book I read was written by one of my professors at Naturopathic Medical School, and he noted that when people just eliminated some of the toxic things they had in their house, they didn't have to do anything. All they did was eliminate these toxins in their house and they lost weight. So it goes to show you all the things that you're using, especially if it has a scent about it, it's pretty bad for you. So we're going to talk about some weight loss tips. So stress management, sleep, exercise, hydration, and the part that deficiencies and food sensitivities also play in your body. Again, it's a whole lot to cover in an hour, but if you decide, I'm going to talk about also an online weight support group for those of you that are just joining that I'm going to be doing weekly webinars on to help educate you about all this in more depth. So stress management. When people are under a lot of stress, cortisol levels increase. Cortisol is the stress hormone. When cortisols are high, it causes you to gain weight mostly in your center region in your belly. The reason for that is when cortisol levels are high, it actually inhibits your body's ability to absorb the thyroid hormone, which pretty much makes you fat. Cortisol is a good thing, though. It can't be too low and it can't be too high. There's a natural rhythm to it. It should be the highest in the morning to help you get out of bed and lowest at night to help you go to sleep. Some of us who are mostly night owls, that natural rhythm is reversed, where it's lowest in the morning, you don't want to get out of bed, and then highest at night where you don't want to go to sleep. You want to stay up till the wee hours in the morning, and that's not so good. So it's really important to regulate these cortisol levels in order to lose weight. The best way to do this is proper diet, and breathing exercises are helpful. Yoga has been proven effective, very effective, to lower cortisol levels very quickly and effectively. A simple breathing exercise would be just to sit alone in a comfortable position and scan your body and breathe. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, and try to breathe where the hand on your belly is going up and down instead of the hand on your chest. This helps to focus on your breathing and relax everything. Also fun. So the more stress in your life you have, the more fun you should have. And again, I'm preaching this to myself because it's hard when you have kids and you're working, you're just trying to get things done. It's hard to make that balance, and every day I try to work for that. And I hope everybody else can as well. But really, laughter is the best medicine. Focus on when you do in your spare time. If you're watching a lot of movies that are thrillers and action-packed movies, these are actually increasing your stress hormones as well. So make it a goal to try to watch something that's going to make you laugh, something that's going to make you feel good and happy instead of stressed and crying and upset. So just focus on that. And also try to make a balance in your life. So the more work that you do, the more fun you have. With sleep, you need a minimum of 7 hours a night. Most people I see, they're getting like 6 hours a night. Did you know before the invention of electricity, the average American had 10 hours of sleep a night because they just went to bed when it got dark outside. But now we have computers and we keep the lights up high. So as the sun goes down at night, you should try to dim your lights to mimic the outside light. As the light goes down, your body will naturally start producing melatonin. And this melatonin helps you become sleepy and it helps you sleep really well at night. But a lot of people are sitting with all the lights on in their house in front of a really bright computer, and this is actually decreasing the amount of melatonin in our bodies. So it's not good to do all the time because obviously it affects your sleep. And sleep is so important. If you're not sleeping, then you're not detoxifying at night because your body detoxifies and regenerates at night. So it's so, so important to get the proper amount of sleep. Try to get as dark of the room as you can with no noise, your cell phones. A lot of people are sleeping with their cell phones at night, and this isn't really healthy either because of the electromagnetic radiation that comes out of the phones. And as a side note, it's really, really important not to have any children under the age of 12 using a cell phone or putting it up to their face. You can put it on speaker and have them talk from there, but don't have them put it up to their face because the radiation will go straight into their brain, because a child under the age of 12 actually has a thinner skull than the average adult. So try to keep, going back to it, if you do sleep with your cell phone, put it on airplane mode because that cuts out the electromagnetic radiation. Ask yourself how fast do you fall asleep? Does it take 1 to 5 minutes? If so, that means you're sleep deprived and you probably need more sleep. If it takes 5 to 15 minutes, that's the average amount, and that's pretty healthy. If it takes more than 15 minutes, it means that you have some sort of imbalance. And I've been blessed to say that I've been able to help a lot of people get better sleep. And sleep is another complicated thing, but a lot of times there's an imbalance in the body. If you're not sleeping right, then there's an imbalance either in your liver, your hormones, or your minerals. And then ask yourself, how do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up chipper and happy, or are you like, don't talk to me until I get my coffee kind of thing? The state that you wake up in can tell you a lot about your health as well. Hydration is super, uber, duper important when it comes to weight loss. Again, as you lose weight, the toxins in your body are released. So if you're not drinking enough water, then those toxins will be reabsorbed into your system. Also, a lot of people tend to crave or think that they're hungry when they're dehydrated. And the way that you could tell if you're dehydrated or not is the color of your urine. So it might be kind of weird, but the color and smell of your urine can tell you a lot about what you need to do. So if you got numbers 2 and 3 here, where your urine is lighter in color, that means you're pretty hydrated. If it's darker yellow, almost brown or orange, then you're pretty severely dehydrated, and you're at risk for cramping or heat stroke. You need to drink more water. Typically, what the water consumption that is needed is half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 140 pounds, then you need about 70 ounces of water. There's 32 ounces in a liter, so 70 ounces is, a couple liters. If you're 200 pounds, then you need 100 ounces. That doesn't count if you're exercising or if you consume a lot of coffee or tea, which are diuretics that make you pee a lot. Then you need more water. But typically just start with trying to drink at least 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water. And that'll get you started. Some people are like, well, if I drink too much water, then I'm going to have to pee all the time. And the reason for that is your body's not used to having that much fluid in it. And you just have to make sure you're drinking a little bit of water throughout the hour, throughout the day. If you start chugging water, that's when the fluid inside your body changes too quickly, and then your body's kidneys work to balance that fluid and makes you urinate more to help balance the fluid in your body. So the key is to try to drink a little bit at a time, over an hour, over a couple hours, over the whole day, so that you don't have to go to the bathroom as much or as often. And a lot of times if you're craving like ice cream or things that are icy and cold, you can tie that to being dehydrated. So just note that if you're craving ice cream or you want something cold and creamy, then know, have I drank water enough today? I've also told patients, drink 1 glass of water before you sit down to eat, and a lot of times that helps sustain you and make you feel full so that you don't eat as much. The next thing I'm going to talk about is food sensitivities, and this is pretty common in weight loss difficulties, Food sensitivities is different than a food allergy. A food allergy is something where you eat a food and then you have a severe reaction where you break out in hives, or your lips start swelling, or you start it starts getting pretty difficult to breathe. So a food sensitivity is something where you consume a food and then you may not see a correlation. A lot of food sensitivities you can actually react to for weeks, so you might not be able to actually pinpoint it to something. And a lot of times if you're eating something that you're not digesting well, it causes a lot of inflammation in the body. And when you have inflammation in the body, it makes weight loss impossible, and it also can cause a lot of aches and pains, joint pains, throwing your back out, neck issues, etc., etc. How you can determine food sensitivities would be the easiest or the most direct way is food elimination. So eliminating the common allergens to food, such as corn, wheat, dairy, chocolate, peanuts. Eliminating those foods and then adding one food back each week and noting any symptoms. If you note any symptoms like After you eat, you should feel energized. If you eat something and you feel like you have to run to the bathroom with diarrhea, or you feel tired, more tired than you did before you ate, or you notice a quickening in your pulse, these are symptoms that you may not realize, but it's actually a reaction to the food that you ate. So it's really important to stem these things. You can also do some lab work. If you do plan on doing any food allergy testing or food sensitivity testing, you want to test IgG, which is immunoglobulin G, which is more of a delayed reaction to it. A lot of doctors will do a skin prick test, which I think is kind of ridiculous because they're just testing the immunoglobulin E, which is a total reaction to like a emergency reaction where you know you're going to be allergic to something. Somebody gets a bee sting and they know that they're going to be deadly allergic to it. I think it's more productive to do an IgG blood work. But again, I found a lot of lab error with this. The thing with blood work is that it's pretty expensive, and then there's a lot of lab error where I found if somebody eats a particular food all the time, it's going to come up in the labs because your body will react to a food over time if you're consistently eating it every day. So what I do is I do a form of applied kinesiology, which I could test different foods and find out what you're sensitive to. So if you know of somebody that does applied kinesiology or muscle testing, that's the way to go in my opinion, as long as they know what they're doing. Oops, I went the wrong way. Also, be accountable. Tell your friends, tell your husband, tell your wife, tell somebody in your family your goals. Hey, look, I plan on losing weight. Help me lose weight. And pick somebody that you respect and somebody that can keep you accountable, because some people don't do well with certain people telling them what to do. So make sure you choose wisely. Post it on Facebook so people can like check in with you and say, hey, you know, how's it going or whatnot. But I found a group setting is really, really helpful because people can feed off of each other's motivation and excitement. Another easy way to do it is start recording your diet every day, and then at the end of the day, look at your diet. Say, hey, did I get my protein in with each meal? Am I eating enough vegetables? Am I eating something green with each meal? Am I drinking enough water? How am I sleeping? You know, a lot of times people don't realize what they're eating until you write it down, and then you look at it, you're like, holy moly, this is horrible. So I challenge you guys to make it a goal to write down start writing down what you eat every day, and you'll be amazed at, you know, what you are eating. Some people aren't eating enough. They're skipping meals, or they're eating like a bag of pretzels for lunch, and then they go all the way 5-6 hours until dinner. And it's really, really horrible to do that to your body. You should try to eat every 3 or 4 hours. Try to make sure you're eating 20 grams of protein per meal at least. You're trying to get everything like a green leafy vegetable in at least twice a day, and going from there. And find some help. Find a good health practitioner that can point you in the right direction. There's so many different diets out there, and so many people that have different success with the different diets. And the reason for that is everybody's different. God made us all individuals, and we all have different imbalances and different problems with foods and different hormonal issues and different deficiencies. And if you don't find somebody that's going to help you figure out exactly what those deficiencies are and what organ imbalance you have, weight loss is going to be really, really hard. So I can definitely help. I've helped a number of women get to their ideal weights and lose weight. A lot of people come with other complaints, and they end up losing weight as a second result or a secondary benefit, and we weren't even trying to go there. So as your body gets healthier, it will start losing weight because it becomes more deficient, or sorry, it becomes more efficient at detoxing. So to conclude, just to review what we went through is, with weight loss, you want to try to regulate your blood sugars. Make sure you're eating enough protein each meal. Make sure you're getting enough fiber from your complex carbohydrates or vegetables, green leafy vegetables especially. Make sure you know what to look for on a food label. the goal is to not to eat food that have a label, but to stick with those whole food, organic produce like apples and peaches, and you got your lean meat, and then your low glycemic fruits and your organic vegetables. Reducing the exposures to the toxins in your life, like the heavy chemicals you use to clean your house, anything with a fragrance you want to try to avoid. And manage your stress and make sure you're getting your sleep. So again, all these topics are a webinar in themselves. Definitely something I plan on talking about, and making sure you're exercising, which I think I didn't even talk about, but the best recommendation for exercise would be 30 minutes a day and switching up what you do. So bike ride one day, walk or run, swim. You know, each different exercise will bring into a different muscle group, which the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn while you're watching TV or listening to a webinar. And make sure you're hydrating, because the more water you drink, the more your body's flushing these toxins that you're detoxing. So next week I'm going to be starting an online weight loss group. For those of you that are interested, you're welcome to join us, even if your state's away. What that entails is I'm going to make a private Facebook page where only those that are invited can attend, where we could share recipes and support. I can answer any questions that you have at any time. And I plan on doing weekly webinars on some of the above topics to inform and educate you and help you understand why weight loss can be a challenge, but help educate you so that weight loss becomes pretty easy. You also get 1 month of weight loss program complete with protein shakes, protein bars, a menu plan, a whole book on tips and recipes and menus, 1 month of supplements, a probiotic, fiber, a multivitamin. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. So thank you for attending. The next steps, some of the things that you could do next would be visit our website at charlottenaturalwellness.com and sign up for our free ebook. It's called Wellness Without Limits. It will give you a whole bunch of nice tips on how to be more healthy and how to attain optimal health. You can join us on Facebook if you haven't already at Charlotte Natural Wellness. I try to post daily lots of tips that are helpful and insightful to help you get to feel energized and get you educated so that you can become a lot more healthier. You can call me for a free 15-minute consultation on the phone. Be happy to answer any questions that you have and see if you're a good fit to start your health journey with me. And if you're interested in the online weight loss group, please feel free to call or email. And stay tuned. I'm going to plan on doing some webinars each month. Call our office for more information or visit our website. So now I'm going to just open up the call for questions. Just type in the questions that you have, and I'll be happy to answer them.